I never thought one ordinary night at work could change my life forever, but that's exactly what happened when I found the bag. I was just finishing my shift at Lux Dine, one of the most expensive restaurants in the city, the kind of place where the rich and powerful came to dine, their laughter bouncing off the chandeliers while we, the staff, worked tirelessly to make their experience perfect. I had dreams of my own, of leaving this job behind and starting something bigger. But that night, fate had something else in store for me. It was late. Most of the tables had emptied, and I was clearing the last few when I noticed it. A black leather bag, sitting alone on a chair by a corner booth. My first thought was that one of the guests had left it behind. It wasn't unusual. People forgot jackets, wallets, sometimes even their phones. But this was different. I called out to my manager, but she had already left for the night. My coworkers were busy shutting things down, so I picked up the bag and carried it to the back. I should have left it with security. I should have ignored my curiosity, but something about it felt important. I unzipped the bag just enough to take a peek inside, and that's when my heart stopped. Stacks of $100 bills, neatly packed. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. There had to be at least $1 million in cash sitting right there in my hands. My breath caught in my throat. For a moment, I just stood there, stunned. My mind was racing. Who leaves this kind of money behind? Was it some rich businessman's carelessness? A drug deal gone wrong? A setup? The possibilities terrified me. I wanted to do the right thing. My first instinct was to turn it in. But then another thought hit me. What if no one came looking for it? Would the police even believe me? Would they assume I had stolen it? My hands shook as I zipped the bag back up and set it on the counter. That's when my phone rang. Unknown number. I hesitated before answering. Did you find something that doesn't belong to you? A deep voice asked. My stomach twisted. Someone knew. Someone was watching me. I swallowed hard. Who is this? Silence, then a low chuckle. Leave the bag where you found it. Walk away. Forget you ever saw it. The call ended. I turned around, suddenly feeling exposed, as if someone was standing right behind me. But I was alone, or at least I thought I was. This wasn't just forgotten money. This was something else, something dangerous. My instincts screamed at me to run, but where? I was already in the middle of something bigger than I could comprehend. My hands felt clammy as I picked up the bag again. I could leave it there. I could walk away and pretend I had never seen it. But then I thought about my life, about my mother's overdue medical bills, about my landlord's warnings that rent was late, about my dreams of something more. I had to make a choice. Before I could decide, the restaurant's front doors swung open and two men in dark suits walked in. Their eyes locked onto mine immediately. One of them smiled, but it wasn't friendly. Looks like you have something that belongs to us, he said. I felt trapped. My pulse pounded in my ears. If I gave them the bag, would they let me go? Or would I be the loose end they needed to tie up? If I ran, how far could I even get? My entire life had been ordinary up until this moment. Now it felt like I had just stepped into a thriller movie. I had one shot to get this right, and I had no idea what to do next. The taller of the two men took a step closer. His voice was low and firm. We don't have all night, kid. I clenched the strap of the bag. Every muscle in my body told me to hand it over, but a small voice in my head whispered something else. Run. I glanced toward the back exit. It was only a few feet away. If I made a break for it, could I outrun them? Would they chase me? Would they even let me leave alive? Look, I don't want any trouble, I said, forcing my voice to stay steady. I was just about to turn it in. The shorter man smirked. Good, then hand it over. I hesitated for just a second too long. The taller man reached inside his jacket. I didn't wait to see what he was grabbing. My survival instinct kicked in, and I bolted. I sprinted toward the back exit, shoving past a stack of chairs. I heard shouting behind me, the thud of footsteps chasing after me. My heart pounded in my chest. If I could just get out, I might have a chance. The alley behind the restaurant was dark and deserted. I ran blindly, clutching the bag, knowing that I had just made the most dangerous decision of my life. There was no turning back now. I turned a corner, panting. My feet slammed against the pavement as I dodged trash cans and old crates. The sounds of my pursuers were right behind me. Then I saw it, a cab parked at the curb. I threw myself inside and shouted, "Drive! Now!" The driver hesitated, but the desperation in my voice must have convinced him. The car lurched forward just as the two men burst onto the street. I looked back. Their faces were stone cold, unreadable, but their eyes, those eyes told me this wasn't over. I clutched the bag tighter. What had I just gotten myself into? The cab vanished into the city, leaving me alone on the rooftop. My breath was ragged, my hands shaking. Whatever was on it had nearly gotten me killed. I could destroy it, disappear, pretend none of this happened. Or I could find out the truth. I made my choice. By morning, I was on a train heading far from the city. A new name, a new destination. But I wasn't running anymore. I was preparing. Because whatever was on that drive, whoever those men were, I knew one thing for sure. This wasn't over. It was just beginning. Thanks for watching Storytime with Elif. If like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more emotional, inspiring, and amazing content. Your next favorite story is just a click away. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications.